everything from workers' conditions based on the S8, like I mentioned before, the animal food, and many others, antibiotics and steroids, hormones, pesticides, and a lot of other chemicals for rapid growth and disease treatments of the animals themselves. Why do they even have diseases? Because they're in awful, harsh conditions, laying in their feces on top of each other and contracting these illnesses. That's what the animal agriculture business and farm factories consist of. Even when they say it's free range, it's awful. They're awful conditions. So that's why. Dairy is an entirely different sect or space, but it is just as cruel as meat production and the slaughtering of animals. Dairy cows are raped. The females are raped and injected after they masturbate the bull. And forcibly, they're hooked up to machines to milk the milk that they produce for their babies, which is why they get them pregnant through rape, so that the cow can produce the milk for us humans to consume. And in order for them to, I would say, extract the milk just for us, they steal the babies. And if the babies are not female, meaning they can produce milk again when they grow up, those babies are killed and sent to slaughter, just days old. And the mother cries in agony for weeks and weeks at a time. So it's a very cruel industry, taking babies away from their mothers. So if you don't believe in rape, if you don't believe in killing of children or anything, and cruel, dire conditions and animal abuse, and then abuse of yourself because of what is pumped into these animals for us to consume, that's another reason to go vegan, since you asked. But yes, veal is the definition of basically baby cows who are males that didn't make the cut and got cut up and sent to slaughter just days or weeks old because they're not females and they can't produce babies or they can't produce milk for the dairy industry. And that's the truth. So that's in the starter guide, since you asked. The processed meats are often injected with harmful bacteria, and some of the diseases are just scientifically proven to be one of the leading causes of cancers in the world, with the U.S. at the top of the list. And that was, like I mentioned before, released by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, in 2017. Another thing regarding our health, the animal fats, they clog our arteries and they sit in the intestines and colon, causing several illnesses and allergies even, and then ultimately diseases. So if you're speaking about just human health in general, my family is plagued with cancers, diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. And so I'm determined to just break the generational curse by breaking what's on the plate and the cycle of what I put in my body. Because you can protect yourself, or at least give yourself a better chance at life, and include the next generation in it, meaning the family that you produce and raise, by making some small adjustments. Another reason and another tier for why I'm vegan, and a great reason to go vegan, this pharmaceutical industry is a multi-trillion-dollar business that keeps us sick, not to cure us, but to keep us coming back as dependent fiends to just treat a problem, but not actually fix it or cure it. And so if you can live a life that allows you to be free of medication and surgeries and triple bypasses and open heart surgeries, I mean, you're going to save yourself money in the long run, but also a lot of stress. And it's a form of rebellion not to give your money to these industries that don't give a shit about you. And that's another reason. It was a very painful experience to watch my mother lose her hair and go through chemotherapy and radiation and be pumped with these toxic just substances to keep her alive. And that has a long-term effect on your immune system. And then to watch her get cancer again of the colon, by the way. You can avoid and prevent a lot of these ailments that especially the African American community suffers from because of the slave diet and the traditions, but also, our culture here in the United States, which was actually never our culture elsewhere. What we were consuming were vegan and vegetarian foods of nature, including herbs. And so our biology does not necessarily complement or coincide, that's a better word, coincide with the processed things that we consume here. And they're not only processed, but they're pumped with harmful substances. So empower your health, empower your wealth, empower your finances, empower your next generation and your family. And those are many different reasons why this has become a permanent lifestyle thing for me, for life. But also, in addition to that, your gut health is attached to your brain. So the human body has two brains, here and here. And they are both connected. So when you're feeling depression and you're feeling anxiety, it is attached to what you're putting in your body. And you can literally reverse depression. You can reverse anxiety and a lot of negative thoughts when you're putting harmony and foods of life instead of death and torture into your temple. And these are the things energetically that I've learned by just studying a couple of people, from Dr. Sebi to Dr. Africa, and then chakra alignment and human energy systems. But it's really important. First of all, the world is always in chaos, and so it's easy to get depressed. And so one form of raising your vibration, just one form, is what you put inside. And it also shows up on the outside. And I really believe in the laws of the universe, like laws of attraction or laws of karma. And so I've been a witness as my own test dummy to manifestations, to the clear-minded nature that I possessed, or even the clarity of my thoughts when I went vegan. But when I went alkaline vegan and raw vegan, it was even a higher level of consciousness and alignment. So I'm just speaking from personal experience, and a lot of this stuff is very uncomfortable to listen to because it's not what we were taught, it's not how we grew up, and it's invasive when you discover that you've been lied to, or you discover new things that challenge what you're used to. It's very uncomfortable. But it's worked for me. I have not fallen over. I've not lost any weight, making me look anorexic. If anything, I've gained the proper weight. I look more healthy. I feel more healthy and alive. I'm happier. I've healed myself from a toxic relationship, toxic thoughts. But what was I putting into my body? Toxicity. So I'm just speaking from a place of love right now. And sometimes love is tough. And this is not to coerce, but this is just to share what I have discovered and what I've learned in my 6 years completed as of today, as I walk into year 7, to help you guys with anything that you'd like to accomplish, because this is the first step to taking great care of yourself, your body, your temple, your life, and everything spans from that, just like tree branches. You're the trunk of the tree with the roots, and everything else, your dreams, your aspirations stem out from your roots and your trunk, and nothing is possible without your actual stem to hold the rest of the branches. So we got to show up as our best selves, and this is a part of getting to your best self so that you can think with clarity, make conscious decisions moving forward for yourself, your community, your family, your friends, your next generation coming up. If you're planning on having children, or whoever you influence, to take care of you is to take care of so many. But when we can't show up for ourselves, it's hard to show up for the world. And that is why I am vegan, but also constantly on a journey to improve my veganism by consuming close to what God intended, which are fruits, vegetables, herbs, plants, seeds, nuts, grains from nature, as pure form as possible, non-tampered by man, or non-tampered with by man. Man has just destroyed this earth. Another thing I want to get into as far as reasons to go vegan: climate change. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of climate change and global warming. The methane gases produced by cows every year outweighs and outnumbers all of the entire world's global emissions from airplanes, trains, buses, cars, motorcycles, you name it. And so if we care about this planet, that is also a conscious decision we can make. It's also hugely responsible for world hunger, as many of the grains that are fed to these animals, livestock, etc., to raise for human consumption, they are stolen from Black people to care about Black lives. But we suffer the most, obviously, from the health issues caused by these processed meats, etc., but also from world hunger, because where do they get these grains? Africa. And that affects Africans. So those are some of the decisions that that I have made a permanent change on, knowing these facts that I can't live with. When you know better, you do better. And all of these summed up equate to a spiritual decision. But a lot of these things are not taught. So that's all in my starter guide. And a lot of people ask me why, how, and that is why, and that is how. It's easy to do whatever you want to do when you know the reason. So always ask your why. That is my why. All of those things that I mentioned, and I didn't even mention everything, including the ocean dead zones, the destruction of the Amazon, the fact that in just 28 years from now, we will have fishless oceans because the fishing industry is overfishing, destroying our ecosystems and habitat. There's species extinction happening at an alarming rate because of our choices here on this planet. But when we disrupt this system, we already know what's going to happen. We will be the first to go, and Earth will thrive. So if you want to get educated, it is free and available to you to to download at mayamaya.com/lifestyle, the free starter guide to get into your why, also to get into your how-to, also to get into your substitutes, cool, easy, affordable, because that's a big misconception, meals and recipes, grocery lists, and then your sources of how to do it. I'm here to take more questions, but I had to speak that piece because a lot of people think it's a trend, and it's not. It's a lifestyle decision that I made for all those reasons that we just discussed, and it weighs heavy on my heart. And I just want to share this moment of knowledge with you so that you understand it's just not some trendy challenge that I do annually, but it's a place of care and concern for everyone as a whole. And if we don't take care of each other and then also take care of this earth, we won't be fighting for anything. We won't even be able to show up anywhere because we're obsolete at this point. So first take care of you, and then you can show up and take care of the world. So this is one of the many ways we can do that, or at least start. And that is where I'm coming from right now. So questions. Do you eat any edible mushrooms? Are they part of your diet as a vegan? I eat mushrooms, portobello. If you're talking about having mushroom trips, I have not done that. I've never done that. Not to say that I'm opposed to it, but I've never experienced that before. But eating mushrooms, some vegans do, some vegans don't, but they are considered vegan. And it's a fungi. Top Mill says, what's the best way to clean your fruits and veggies? Water works, but many people soak their fruits and vegetables in vinegar, and you can see the wax come off that the stores spray the fruits and vegetables with to make them super shiny for the eye and appeal. But water and vinegar works fine, and it's harmless. What's the website again? Okay, it's mayamaya.com/lifestyle, and you can download the free starter guide. It's in PDF format, so it can go straight to your phone or a laptop. Lots of information in there, including films to watch. If you guys are sitting at home in quarantine, you definitely want to check out some of these films that are very educational and enlightening and empowering, so that you can be well equipped with facts to arm yourself with, so that you can protect yourselves and your families. Maya, you look thin. Can't tell in that starter outfit. Well, I am far from thin, but I do keep a very small upper frame, which I was born with, which makes me look thin. Years of dancing and ballet give me a long neck. I'm thankful for that part, because looks can be very deceiving. I'm 142 pounds right now and gaining weight from this muscle and these workouts at 5'5". So when I was actually overweight, I was 156. So I'm not actually far from 156. It's just distributed different and not fat. It's now muscle, which I am not mad at, but I'm definitely not thin. I'm a slim thick and healthy. Yes, there are books in my guide as well. I list all of the titles of documentaries and films to watch, along with websites, books to read, even my vegan community that I follow. A lot of people ask me questions about vegan fitness. Will I lose weight? Will I wither away? Can I still be a bodybuilder, or can I still work out being vegan? Will I fall over and faint and die? Absolutely not. Game Changers is a film you want to watch if you have questions about being vegan and being an athlete. Vegan athletes are now breaking records, world records, like Guinness Book of World Records. as their recovery time and inflammation subsides, recovery time also decreases and their records are broken. They do things that they never thought possible, and it's basically because a lot of the arteries and veins are not constricted with blood flow. And it shows you in a lot of diagrams what that looks like as far as the vessels of a plant-based or a vegan eater compared to that of a vegetarian that consumes dairy, which causes mucus, as well as eggs that cause high cholesterol, and that of a carnivore, which is full of lots of fat and constricts the blood flow, which also affects and impacts performance of athletes. So watch Game Changers if you are concerned about fitness and withering away and not being able to develop muscle as a vegan. Those are all myths. You can actually develop more and do better, perform better, and break records. Amazing. Okay. Yes, there are 300-pound NFL vegans. Being a vegan, do you still wear clothing made from animals? Actually, no, I do not. I do not wear cashmere or wool or partake in any bags, luggage now as a vegan that includes leather shoes, leather purses, handbags, wallets. Everything is vegan. Furniture is vegan. The only thing that is not vegan is one of my cars that I got, I would say, in 2013 that I actually still have. That still has leather seats. But everything after my vegan journey is vegan. Including the products that I use, the face products that I use, hair products, household products, and all of that stuff is in the starter guide. The actual brands I've listed. Nail polishes are vegan. I even found a bar that's vegan, nail bar, in California. Yes, no animal cruelty, no testing animals. So usually when products are distributed to China, that means that lawfully speaking, they have to be tested on animals. So make sure you look on the back. If it says manufactured in China, that means that it's not cruelty-free. And cruelty-free means that it has not been tested on animals. So there should always be a vegan and a cruelty-free sticker. Because a product can be vegan, which means it doesn't contain any animal products, but cruelty-free means that there's no animal testing. And even on some of the back of the products, it will specify no animal testing. Great question. D. Watson, 1977. Would you date a man who was not vegan? That long answer is in my starter guide, and the question is yes, you can date anyone that you would like and meet them where they are. Would I marry a man that's not vegan? No, because our views are not the same. Our spirituality is not the same, but the point of dating is to learn each other, to grow with each other, to see if you all can have a life together and produce the type of upbringing for your children. And that has to be on one accord. And if it's not, I would not be able to produce children or marry that man, which is the point of dating, to get to know someone fully. And it's okay if I'm not 100% what that person requires at that dating phase, and that person is also not 100% of what I require in my future life. But you can grow into that together. I find the resistance to take place when that person is stubborn. And they might find the same thing in me if I'm stubborn and not open to. So it's about being open. But when that person is closed off and not willing to try, that's a no-no for me. I hope I answered your question. But the full answer is in my starter guide as well, because that's an often asked question in interviews.